Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate Matters. For over 11 years, the voice of real estate for Flagler County and Palm Coast, Florida. Welcome to the quiet side of Florida. I'm Toby Tobin. I'm the publisher of GoToby.com. I'm a Florida licensed realtor with Grand Living Realty. And co-host Anna Maria Long from the Flagler Home Builders Association is with me in the studio today. Hello, Anna Maria.
Hi.
You feeling better?
Yes, just my voice is mostly back, but I'm feeling fantastic.
It's better than it was last week.
Yeah, I apologize to everyone who listened to the last week's show. I'm sure the voice was entertaining, though.
So anyway, we want to thank our sponsors. Our lead sponsor is Veranda Bay, which is a private developing community of lots and luxury homes on the Intercoastal Waterway, a 1 mile stretch of the Intercoastal, as a matter of fact, with the Flagler Beach address of John Anderson Boulevard. They feature homes by Olson Homes, AR Homes by Arthur Ruttenberg, ICI Homes, and Hulbert Homes. And those builders all have models in the community. And there are over 20 homes that have been built in there and sold. And mostly in the $1 million plus range because they're in a great spot. It's a nice community and they're right on the water.
I've got a little shout out up for over there. Our Parade of Homes Showcase home by Hulbert Homes will be in that community.
Oh, good. Last year I think they were the showcase community.
They were. I don't have a showcase community yet.
You don't have one yet?
Stop putting the pressure on me. Maybe by next week I will.
Yeah, but
I got a home.
Hulbert is the showcase home, though.
They are. And
they're
congratulations to them.
And they're using their Veranda Bay model.
I believe so.
Okay.
I did not check the address, but it is in there.
And Toll Brothers and Dreamfinders are also building homes in Veranda Bay now. And you can check out Veranda Bay at verandabay.com. We're also sponsored by the Home Builders Association. Thank you very much. And the Hammock Community Church on A1A in the Hammock. It's the little church in the woods. If you go up A1A, it's 1.25 miles north of the toll bridge. That's where you find me every Sunday morning at the 11 o'clock service. But if you like to get going earlier than I do, there's the 9 o'clock service too. And I think if you're the kind of person that prefers a choir to a band, you love this church. So we don't have any guests today, but I'll quickly review some month-to-date statistics. We're at that funny period. You'd say, well, why don't you know? It's almost the end of the month. Well, almost the end of the month is when a lot of the sales get reported.
That's right.
And in fact, after the end of the month, so we won't really know what or January finals are until probably the 8th or the 10th.
A lot of those closings happen right at the very end.
They do, but so far, as of today, and we're recording this on the 29th, that's Thursday afternoon, so as of noon today, 125 single-family homes had been sold. These are Flagler County address homes sold through the Flagler MLS system. The median price was $372. Days on market, 52. So comparing to last January, a total of 163 single-family homes were sold. The median price was $377.5. So I would guess that at 125, with just a couple days to go of sales activity, we're probably going to have a hard time exceeding last year's number. We might meet it on number of homes sold.
Yeah. It's been surprising here lately, so
last couple of months has sure fooled us.
Let's not write it off just yet.
Okay, 7 homes of those 125 sold for $250,000 or less. 4 of those 7 were for cash, and the median days on market was 3.
Hotcakes.
So if you're, as we mentioned last week, if you're looking to buy a home down in that price range, don't wait around. Don't procrastinate. 4 homes have sold so far this month in the $1 million plus category. Days on market equals 88. All 4 of those were for cash, and so were 3 out of the next 4 on the top-down price list. 1,162 homes are listed with MLS. versus 1,292 a year ago. And we're going to be talking more about numbers later in the show. In fact, that's our main topic today. But 1162 down from 1292 a year ago. So all the social media folks that complain about the fact that we're flooded with homes for sale are wrong. 338 homes are pending. That's up from 273 last year. So for those who say sales are really slow, they're wrong too.
They're wrong too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We need a wrong buzzer. Wrong. Wrong.
Building permits. If you've been following the action along State Road 100, of course, there's lots of construction on Moody Boulevard or State Road 100. But Beach Village is a community. It's between Old Kings Road and Colbert Lane on the north side of Moody. And you can see it from the road. There's vertical construction going on back there. It's right next to a storage unit, which is convenient because it's an apartment complex.
That's right.
And apartment dwellers probably
could use some storage.
Use storage units more often.
You know, we always hear, oh, more storage, but I gotta say it for the record. The storage companies would not be continuing to build buildings if they weren't being used and sold.
No, and they
rented, I should say.
And they're very much driven by the market and knowledge of the market, and they know exactly how many storage units need to be built for every 100 apartment
right
units. So they follow the building permits and they build ahead of time.
That's right. You may not like looking at them, you may think there's too much, but I promise they are not dumping that money for fun.
And you know, people complain about Palm Coast, but in Palm Coast, most of those storage units are hidden pretty well from the road.
They are, yeah, because of our buffer requirements. They are. Yeah. And they are very nice looking as well.
But anyway, they already have 2 buildings under construction at Ocean Village. Ocean Village or Beach Village? I've got it written at Ocean Village, but it seems
you said Beach Village.
Yeah. Anyway.
We'll have to check your residential development map on gotoby.com.
It's there for sure. But anyway, this is a 104-unit building, and it's the 3rd building permitted out of a total of 4 that will go up there. Single-family permits, we can only talk about the ones that we have, the numbers we have access to, and that's the city of Palm Coast. But so far this month, single-family permits, 67 issued, 63 more applied for. So what are you hearing from the builders?
Not much so far this year, but everyone's kind of preparing to stay the same or have some potential drop. However, we are still looking at the same sentiment, potentially having an increase due to it being a midterm election year. This coming week, so on the 2nd through the 4th, there's 10 members going to Tallahassee for legislative session. So we'll be with our state association. And then 2 weeks after that, we have the International Builders Show. And at that, we will hear from Dr. Dietz from the National Association of Home Builders. And he will be able to give us some more updated statistics on market forecasts. So I'll bring those back.
Probably last half of February sometime you'll be able to talk.
Yeah, that'll be the very last week, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, for those of you who don't know, in fact, for those of you who do know, the facts are still the same. I've been in real estate now for 25 years, but I spent the bulk of my career in the IT industry, and I've got an analytical background, so I like numbers, and I've bumped up against some interesting things over the last couple of weeks that we're going to share today. There's an old saying that says, liars figure and figures lie. And the irony is that numbers are precise. You know, but they're a tool, and they can be misused like any tool. And here's what AI says about my comment, liars figure and figures lie. AI says, while numbers are often taken as objective truths, they can be misleading without proper context. The way data is presented or interpreted can create misconceptions, especially in real estate, where statistics such as home sales, median prices, and days on market are frequently cited. These figures can be manipulated or misinterpreted or misunderstood, leading to inaccurate conclusions about the market. It is important to look beyond the surface of the numbers and understand the full story they tell. I've got a couple of examples of how numbers can be kind of baffling. I mean, you'd think 7 is a 7. How can you dispute a 7? How can you argue about
I think you're going to tell us how.
the number 7? Well, here, I'm going to ask you a quiz.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Call it a bet, if you
All
will.
right.
Okay. I'm going to give you two choices. This is hypothetical
Okay.
because I don't have $1 million. But number one is I give you $1 million cash right now today, or I give you a penny today, but then tomorrow I give you 2 pennies, and then the next day 4 pennies, then 8 pennies, 16, 32, 64, doubling each day for a full month. What's your gut tell you to take?
I heard this recently, and I don't remember if it was with pennies or the dollar amounts, but the correct answer
was
was
one
the
of those.
doubling.
Yeah, that's the pennies. Yeah,
It was the doubling.
Yeah.
Oh, did I hear it from you? I have such a
Yeah.
bad memory.
I think I told you this last week.
Okay, well,
we
yeah, it's
were
the doubling.
not on the
Yes,
show.
it was at the GMO. It was the doubling.
And that works with a 30-day month. You don't even have to have if
You don't even need that 31st day?
31st day will take it over 2 million.
But maybe not for February on the 28 days.
No, it doesn't work
Okay.
for February.
All right.
But
Good to know.
the 30th day takes you to 1,073,000.
And it's funny, and that's a kind of a good example as we get into the rest of the show, because you'll see on social media, people will say, if you save $1 a day, you'll have X amount of dollars. And at 9 out of 10 times, they have the math wrong. And they say, you can save $500,000 this year. Just do this. And it's like, first of all, if you don't have $500,000, you cannot save it.
Yeah, well, if you have a penny a day, but
But you can't keep doubling it unless you also have $1 million.
Right, exactly. But that kind of gives you a hint of the power of compound interest.
Yes.
Which is very, very
That's
powerful.
real.
Okay, here's another one. And I made lots of beer bets when I was young and got a lot of free beer on this one. You go
Hint.
any room that you're in, like a bar, for instance, with bunches of people. Here's your bet. Say, I'll bet at least 2 people in this bar have the same birthday. Not necessarily the same year, but say
just month and day.
July 6th. Do you know how? Now, of course, the more people that are in the room,
the better my
chances of winning the bet. But you know what number it takes for me to break even? It's not half of 365. That's a hint.
2?
Well, about 27.
Because of the combinations.
If there are at least
between months and days.
Yeah, 27 people in the room, it's a 50-50 bet.
Gotcha.
When you go to 28, it's in my favor. And by the time you get up to 30 or 32, it's way in my favor. When you get up to 40, it's 50-1 in my favor.
You see why I don't gamble, Toby? I couldn't even figure out what the odds were.
Well, now you know my birthday, though.
I'm going to put it in my calendar, July 6th.
But, and for those of you out in the audience, too, if you want to send anything,
send it to the radio station.
Send it to the radio station. You're not going to dox me online.
No, we're not. But we are going to take a quick break.
Yep, I'm with that. Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to Real Estate Matters for our second half. Thanks for staying with us. Want to shout out again to our lead sponsor, Veranda Bay. Beautiful community being developed on John Anderson Boulevard with a Flagler Beach address. We were just talking about how liars figure and figures lie, and we did a couple.
Anna Maria shouldn't bet.
Anna Maria shouldn't bet, or if she does, I want her to bet with me. But what I'm leading up to is that real estate reporting is really all based on statistics, numbers, extrapolations,
Your favorite.
guesses, and I like to do that stuff. That's what I was in my DNA. But I ran across an article put out by Realtor.com, which is generally a respected source.
Definitely.
I generally consider them well researched. But the article was entitled "Florida Homeowners Pay the Most in HOA Fees," and the title didn't throw me off because I would have guessed that anyway, because it's we have more
HOAs, right?
HOAs, yeah,
Than other states typically.
and our insurances tends to be a little bit higher,
Yeah.
things like that. With a lot of reasons for
All
that
those
being true.
hurricanes.
But one of the statements I made in the article is roughly 1/3 or 33.4% of single-family homes have HOAs. And more than 4 and 5, 84.8% of condos and townhomes do. And that was a big red flag for me because they're say HOA, that's Homeowners Association. I've been president of a condominium association.
They're different.
And they're different. And
Condos don't have HOAs.
The legal structure is different. The financial obligations are different. The budget of an HOA is just mostly streets and common areas. Condo, you're talking about the streets, the common areas, the roofs, the
hallways,
the hallways,
elevators.
Most of the structure itself, except when you own a condo, you just basically own the inside of the box. Typically, you own the paint on the wall, but you don't own the wall, the sheetrock.
Nothing beyond the drywall.
Right. No. So.
So you got your first red flag.
Yeah. So I started reading further. They started throwing out numbers about the average HOA fee and what percentage it is of your total ownership cost, and very impressive article. I mean, when you read it, you say, "Wow, that's impressive." But when you realize that they're mixing apples and oranges,
and then you just got a big fruit salad.
The whole premise of the article falls apart, and you shouldn't rely on stuff like that.
But the average reader likely doesn't know that there's a difference between the HOA and a condo association, and would easily read this and believe everything.
And that's important because the market is handling those two. I mean, that's a big part of the Florida market, even more so going forward. And one of the reasons it's a big part of the single-family residential market is because when you build a new community as a developer, the city or county or jurisdiction within which you're building will not take over your road maintenance or your stormwater management maintenance. Yeah. So they require the formation of an association. Right. So virtually all new construction planned communities going forward in Florida will be HOA communities.
So we will continue to have the most HOAs and therefore the highest HOAs.
And the condo market is totally different. We had a condo collapse in South Florida a few years ago and changed.
Very unfortunately.
Unfortunately, over 100 people were killed as a result of that.
And many lives likely saved because of what they learned from that disaster.
Right. And so they passed some new legislation in Florida which tends to raise the condo association fees, but not homeowners association fees. Correct. But if you throw all those in the same pot, you'll confuse everybody.
Yeah, it just boils over.
So on social media, I often see some ridiculous numbers quoted. There's on Nextdoor, I think it's Nextdoor, Neighborhood Nextdoor.
I stay off of both of those, honestly.
Okay, there's a poster, Joy C. claims that there are 2,600 homes for sale in Flagler County now, and turns out I happen to be a member of the MLS, and so I hopped on MLS and I said, how many single-family homes are listed on MLS? Now, I recognize it's for sale by owner. There's certain classes that aren't going to be on the MLS. So MLS is, but not
that is one source.
But the number that MLS came back with was 1,150, which is a little bit shy of 2,600.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
A little bit less than half.
I started nosing around. I started asking some of the different
AI.
AIs, how many homes were sold. And interestingly,
Yeah.
one
Try
of
to
my
see
tests was
what they might
how
be
many
used.
single-family homes were sold in Flagler County, Florida, in the month of December, and it came back immediately with a response that said 100 or 310 single-family homes. I said, "Wow, that number looks familiar."
Did
And
it
then
did it source
said
your
median
article?
median price, yeah, and then
Yeah.
down at the bottom it said resources or
Yeah. Your sources.
the sources. So I clicked on that, and all the numbers were coming from
Yep.
gotoby.com.
I've trained my AI to immediately give me all citations because I don't trust anything.
But some of the AI responses on number of homes listed for sale were as high as 2,500. So
Interesting.
it's but they
But
but they weren't.
what kind of sources are they?
Well, Trulia was around 17 or 1,800.
Okay.
Realtor.com was up in the 2,600. Then I dug into that a little bit, and I suspected they were including
Rentals?
They might have included rentals, but they were including condos, townhomes.
Okay.
So, but again,
Totally
the numbers,
different market.
different conclusions,
Yes.
but the numbers are the same. The number of homes that were sold is a pure number. I mean, it's not like, well, it was 1,300 and yesterday, and then it was 1,350 today, and tomorrow it's going to be 1,211. It's precise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you end up getting so many different versions of reporting.
Because everyone's using different sources, and only one of them is sourced accurately by what was sold through the MLS, which is the most.
Well, it's the probably the most accurate, but it's not the most precise because, as I mentioned, it doesn't include for sale by owners.
Right.
It doesn't include a lot of the high-end custom homes.
Also true, but none of those other sources would include those either.
Because they don't have that information either.
So when we're talking about these other sources, the MLS is going to be the most accurate, except for the FSBOs.
Yeah.
Those FSBOs would likely be offered on Zillow, etc. But I don't think the differences are that high
No, I don't either.
get the FSBOs.
I suspect,
Because historically, those for sale by owners are very very small minority.
Roughly 5% of the market. So some of the problems that I found, and I actually got a report from the local MLS that they distributed to their members, and it was a report from Florida Realtors, of which I'm also a member.
Sure.
In Nashville, we all are for realtors. You have to pay all those folks. But this report was showing the fourth quarter of 2025 and the month of December 2025, and the numbers were way off. They weren't anywhere near the 311 that I had from MLS.
Okay.
So I sniffed around. I ended up talking to somebody in the research department at Florida Realtors, and it turns out they pulled the report too early. There were still a lot of numbers coming in the end of December that weren't included in the report.
How interesting.
But yet the heading says December 2025. So you would think that it must be all of this. But even my article, which was, I think, put out about 5 or 7 days after the end of December, said 310. Well, it's up to 315. Five more. Have
but you gave it a little leeway. I do the same thing with mine.
But some of the problems, double counting, because Florida Realtors and Realtor.com, they just pull data from all their members, and some properties are listed in different counties. So you may have a Florida home listed on Florida MLS, but it might be listed in Volusia MLS too. So then when it sells, it gets double counted.
Right.
That's one of the problems. Categories were the townhomes, duplexes, condos, single family, measurement not being specific. Like we have average and we have median, and they're not the same. And
No.
very
No.
often the statistics don't cite which they're quoting.
Ah.
And then you got cherry picking, and that's the joys of the world that find a number that suits their narrative, so that's what they use.
Yeah.
And then,
Politicians do it too.
yeah, and then quickly, corrupt data, August 22 is forever memorialized as the highest monthly home sales and total sales volume in the total MLS of the local MLS. And of course, these are the numbers that went up to Florida Realtors, and they show up there too. But of the 373 homes that were reported sold, 132 of them were actually sold. And I verified this. I've got the spreadsheet. I went to the deeds. 132 out of 373 transactions reported that month actually occurred in months in the previous 12 months. And that's because they were installing a new software system.
Yeah.
So
they switched to
they had
Stellar.
to do, at the end, everybody was confused, so they just did a final data dump and brought in all the...
Wow.
So anyway, we're running out of time.
All right. Well, video podcasts of Real Estate Matters are available on gotoby.com. Just click on podcasts on the top navigation bar, and show notes are included so you can see what we didn't get to on the show. Also on gotoby.com, the Flagler County interactive map of residential developments and subdivisions updated regularly. And if you have a question or a suggestion for Real Estate Matters or gotoby.com,
give me a call, 386-931-7124, or email me at toby@gotoby.com. I'm Toby Tobin, and I approve this show. See y'all next week.